Just want to start this off with a moment of silence for all the members of the black community that we have recently lost due to circumstances of inequality and racism. As a white police officer working in a predominantly black community, I want to say a couple words about recent current affairs involving racism and white police officers. Um, First off, I want to make it clear that normally I don't make these sort of videos, and I even kind of told myself when I became a police officer I wasn't really going to speak out against anything, and I honestly don't really feel that anybody cares about my political views or my world views. I just said I was going to be a police officer to do my job correctly and justly, and that's really why I got involved in policing, just so I could serve people that needed help. There's a few black men that I look up to, and they have recently spoken out against what's been going on. And one of the things that they said was there's not enough white people speaking out, and also that silence might be misconstrued as being in agreement with what's going on. I think in no way, shape, or form that everything going on, especially with the George Floyd incident, um, any officer, any sworn officer would put their stamp of approval on that sort of behavior. That absolutely abhorrent behavior. Clearly a violation of human rights, clearly a violation of their duties as police officers, and clearly a strong case for murder. The way that this officer kneeled on the neck of a man who was handcuffed while he pleaded for to be able to breathe, and stand by people who were standing by, bystanders. Um, were also telling both of these officers that were all standing around, or the handful of officers that were standing around, that this guy can't breathe. Um, how could you be doing something like this? And the only response from the officer kneeling on his neck was that he reached for his pepper spray to get the other people back. So this is clearly terrible behavior, and I honestly can't see anybody or any police officer that I know, or any police officer I've ever spoken to, put their stamp of approval on this sort of behavior. So I just want to get that out the way, that there's a lot of white police officers that are against racism. Out of the 7 or say 800,000 sworn officers in this country, there's a large number of those that are just trying to do their jobs correctly and in support of equality and human rights. So, for the whole of police to be judged as this one unit that's somehow supporting this sort of behavior, this sort of behavior where justice isn't done towards people that are being unjustly treated and people that are being killed. There's not a lot of opportunities for the average police officer, and it's kind of frowned upon for officers to be speaking out off the record, normally about incidents that happen to them. So the fact that this is such a hot topic right now makes it somewhat fair game. I would say that in my experience as a police officer, at least working in a predominantly black community, that the majority of the calls we go on end positively. And it's this one or a handful of negative incidents that really paint a negative picture for all police. And it's, I get it, this was beaten to our heads in the academy. One of us mess up and we all pay the price. I get it. But to say that I put my stamp of approval on any of this sort of behavior it's actually not correct. So But I know I'm speaking out because there's a lot of officers that feel this way, that this isn't something that was just. So, I just wanted to go on the record and say that, or put the word out there to other police officers that feel the same way. Maybe you feel the same way, you're just posting a black square on your Instagram. I get it, you're trying to show support, but I feel like that's not enough. Um, I go to work with officers that are black, and I'll fight for them and I'll die for them every night I go to work. And the people in the community that I work for, I'm absolutely proud to be working in a black community, and I'll do the same for them. People that are in danger and people that need help, I'll do whatever I have to do to help them. And I just know from working around police officers, at least in the community that I work in, that this is something that, a way that we all feel. And in other communities that I've spoken to, I cannot say that on the whole that this isn't going on, that there isn't racism going on across this country, because I've heard enough stories from enough people to know that at some level racism still does exist. Sadly it does. So just to kind of not keep going on about this whole matter, I just want to sum it up by saying this is a time for action. There's a time to talk, and there's a time for action. And a lot of people just do the talking, and I get that there's some people rallying for good cause, and I support rallying and peaceful protesting. When we get towards the aspect of looting and trying to bring down the police force and say defund policing, I mean, this is a dangerous line we're walking, because there's a majority of police officers out there that are good, doing the right thing. But I support peaceful protesting. I stand shoulder to shoulder with all the black officers I work with, and for that matter, officers of any color, and the community I work for. So I want to do my part and donate some money. So I'm going to leave some links at the bottom of this video. I know Black Lives Matter is the one organization right now that's kind of the front of this whole movement, and everybody's behind it. There's also other organizations. I did a little bit of research. Black Lives Matter has partners fighting towards the same cause, to end racism, to end inequality in the black community, there's other causes out there to end inequality for everybody. So I'm going to donate to one of these organizations. I'll post a link, Black Lives Matter. I'll post a link to other organizations that are similar to Black Lives Matter. And I just wanted to end this off by saying that anybody needs my help, or anybody needs somebody to stand by them, I'm definitely not going to be silent on this matter. Anybody that needs me to fight for them against racism or inequality, I'm definitely not going to be silent on this matter. I want that to be known, and hopefully, if I can get some attention from this, this will be an opportunity for other people to step up to the plate. Because, like I said, especially working in the world of police, knowing that you could be put in situations where it could be life or death in a matter of a second. You kind of get a feeling when you know there's a time for action and when there's not a time for action, and this is a time for action. So I'm kind of just putting the word out there to everybody else, kind of putting the challenge out there to everybody else. Put your money where your mouth is, because it's a time for action. So if you could donate $5, or that's really not much. What is that these days? Maybe like a slice of pizza and a soda. So if $5 is too much for you, I get it. With this pandemic just going on, a lot of people are out of work. Do something. Do a video. that gets some attention. You know, if you could dance or if you have a talent. If you don't, maybe try to learn a talent just so you can do a video. I mean, everybody's got a cell phone. I don't want to hear that. I don't care how hard up you are. I still see people all up on Instagram and TikTok and social media, YouTube commenting, and so, you know, for everybody who wants to say that they don't have the money, I mean, $5 isn't that much, but I'm just saying, you know, anything that you can give towards one of these organizations would be helpful, because ultimately, these organizations are going to go as far as their funding allows them to go. So, if you do stand against racism and you do stand against everything negative going on right now, what you're going to do is you're going to want to take some action, and that's going to be by either getting involved in a peaceful protest, and if you can't do that, like I said, help fund these organizations so they can get more attention. They could buy the exposure as far as advertisements go, or whatever their end goal is to end racism or inequality. They could get there better with better funding. Use your talent to figure out a way to garner attention for this cause. And hopefully with enough people stepping up and enough people stopping their silence and enough people in support of ending racism, we can make a real change here. I just want to say thank you everybody for watching this, and again, you know, I support all my everybody that I work with who's black. I support everybody who's not white. I support everybody in the community who's you know, of all races and all backgrounds. So if you feel the same way, and I know a lot of people out there do, step up and do something, which I think that's what we need right now. We need to take some action on this. So God bless everybody, and thanks again for watching.